Hey guys, so welcome back to another part two of the love of finding. Now, basically, I know I'm so sorry I got paused the video, but let me give you another video. So basically, I remember, so I watched the whole clip, the video, but I didn't get to watch the whole clip. But I skipped the video. I watched what happened, what I did at the end. So let me tell you what happened. So I said that what happened to why. So let me tell you what happened to the end. What's gonna happen on the end? What happened? So basically, Jaden announced that Jaden where he basically decided after decided to do is an Ariana decided they date Harry. Back in the day, when they broke up, when Jaden and Ariana they broke up, and first they broke up, and second of all, and Ariana decided to date. Of course, decided to give a try to date Harry. Both of them they decided to be each other, but of course Harry Adriana said, "Can you please treat me better and treat me better?" But basically, Harry has made a public relationship with Adrian, and she didn't care. He still wants to ask to tell her what to do. Now, basically, Ariana decided to have enough with it, and he decided to do is end break up with Harry. After basically Harry, now let's talk about Jaden and Angela. Angela basically they don't see couple, but Angela has more feeling for her. But basically, say Angela said that Angela decided to do. Can you please date me first? Can you date me? And can you please? Basically, Angela basically now that he said that Angela basically what and they basically they don't want the date. They don't want to date. Jada doesn't feel comfortable dating with Angela because they don't want to. He doesn't feel comfortable dating. The only thing she feels comfortable dating is Ariana. But basically, the course they decided not they don't want to date. And of course, Angela feels a little bit. He feels upset because he doesn't want because Jaden doesn't want to date Ariana. So after they decided to decide, and Jaden decided to walk away, and of course, Ariana they decided to do what happened. So let me tell you what happened to the end of Ariana and Harry. So let me get this straight. What happened? The story happened. And what happened? But so let me tell you what happened to Harry. Harry happened basically. He basically trying to get home. He basically gonna go home, but basically a traffic the car basically they hit him the car, and of course Harry died because of the car crash. Basically, let me tell you what happened to Ariane. So let me tell you what happened. And Ariane basically feels upset about the death of Harry. Basically, they decided to rest in peace to him. He died of he died of the died of the car on the car crash. So that's the story about what happened to Harry. So let's talk about what happened to Ariane. What happened to Angela. Angela basically said that he was still depressed because he can't Jaden broke the heart of her. Basically, he took pills and he committed to decide to take pills to take. He took this temper drugs, the drug drugs, and of course, the drug caused the death. But of course, after basically Angela survived the drug thing. She survived basically she survived the pill, but basically now that she was suspended for spell for school for he just a spell for school for doing drugs. Basically, I know she's just crazy thing. I know you guys think it doesn't make no sense. Why she didn't? She got suspended. Her mother decided to not give her to school and decided to send her to the different. Basically, Angela decided to do is like he decided to move out. He wants to move out, and of course, Angela decided to do. He decided to make. He didn't commit it. He decided to commit a suicide. After Angela decided to committed suicide, and of course, Angela decided he passed away because of the other course of her life. The life had been hard in his life. Basically, Angela announced that she's now moved on. And she moved to a different state. And let me tell you where Angela she went now. She left. She died. Of course, he died, and of course, he went to the South Carolina and to the South Carolina, and decided to be close to the course and the beach. But basically, he died up there in South Carolina. I know he moved to, after they left in Massachusetts. And basically, they both in the course. Angela would ever come back. Basically, she's been hiding her hard time in love, hard time. So let me tell you. So let's tell you what is the backstory. What happened after they stopped the bad woman, the still a woman. After Angela stopped the bad woman, one of the trying to stop her, just trying to talk to her. After Angela basically announced that Angela decided to find out who caused the responsible for the end. After basically announced that he basically announced Angela announced that the news reported after the news reported news after and so after when basically Jane turned on the TV, he announced that he watched the news that the news announced that he found out that Angela died because of suicidal, because he feels suicidal. After basically find out that he found he find her girl, he find her his ex date. Basically, he basically they're not dating. After they returned the announcement, basically, Jaden basically sends upset because of the Angela, and now Jaden started feel broken heart, and of course they cause some depressed or worse. Basically, now basically after 3 days later, now Jaden has moved on with Angela. The call what the hell what happened? The happening of Angela or the death of Angela. After the day, and now basically announced that basically, and now Angela they kept trying to get back together, and the ghost basically announced they fine. Basically, the ghost said that they basically announced that in the dream, Jaden went back to sleep again after they went to sleep. Now, basically, the ghost came back in the dream of Jaden, and he told her that you be cheating he's been cheating for dating Harry. After basically announced that, why did you do this? His friend basically announced that he's telling his friend to sell this. He said that the news basically they announced that basically they find out who is the responsible for the date for the responsible the couples, but basically announced that they didn't. Of course, they didn't. And of course, they decided to do the investigation who was the responsible. Many people keep saying that is the black who is the stealer woman who was responsible, but when people find out she was not the responsible who did this. The responsible was the two women who basically walk two women and one man who decided to be two women who not a man but basically two women they are responsible for this. Basically, and of course, that was Harry's. Of course, Harry is his mother. The Harry's mother and Angela's mother, who basically they trying their best to get back. Now, many people say that they were not responsible. Of course, Angela's mother basically is Angela's mother. Angela's mother is actually his real uncle. It was actually his real uncle. Basically, not basically uncle, but uncle. But basically, Angela lived to what happened to his story about Angela, his mother, his uncles, and of course his mother. They got in a fight because used to be uncles because of the fight. They decided to move to Massachusetts. They both not the back. And of course, after this, his mother decided to move to Massachusetts to move to get away from the uncle of Adrian to Ariane. His father basically died years ago of the because of he died because of the causing a heart failure. Die heart failures. Back in the day where Angela was before Angela turned 4 years old. After the death of his dad, before it was his uncle, because of his uncle. Basically, his uncle they move in. After basically announced that his parents now the mothers were arrested. She mother arrested for the course. They tried their best to get arrested, but of course his mother decided to arrest her. And of course, Harry's mother was arrested for charging for trying to ruin their life for the relationship, for the mothers for the relationship. After they started to be arrested. The three mothers of Angela. After this one, so Angela's mother was arrested. Three mothers were dated, and that what Angela's mother basically moved again to went back to Massachusetts to discover to ruin again the relationship again. After she no longer in South Carolina. After basically they now no longer in South Carolina. After they announced that basically they decided to do it is now the time of what happened to the now basically the relationship now crashed. But basically Harry after the announced there was a guy named of course Harry basically and now I can't get back with Ariane. But here's the happen what happened to the couples what happened. The story what happened. The story happened what happened with Harry Jaden find out that Harry that basically they decided to go back to and of course Jaden let me tell you what happened. Jaden went back home and basically they said Phil and one of his friends told him that Ariana was cheating. It was decided to cheat because of this way, cheating for because they said that they decided to break up, and of course, and one of his friends find out that Ariana was find out to he find his hooked up with Harry, Harry. But basically, Harry 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 said that basically Harry said that they weren't couple, they've been couples to each other, been couples. But basically they've been couples to each other, but now Harry, of course. After back in the days, back in the day, so let me tell you another backstory what happened to Harry and Jaden. Jaden, they fight each other because of the couples, of the fight of the couples. And of course, Angela's trying to stop it, and Angela, and of course, and Ariana and Angela just trying their best to stop it, to stop everything, to stop this fight. Basically, of course, the couple's been ruined because of the bullies, of the whole drama, the whole investigation, the court investigation. Now let's talk about what happened to the end. And one of his, of course, but after they found a recorded video, they found a recording himself video, and of course, Jaden find the video. He found himself the video. After the video, find out the video. Now, basically, after Ariana decided to do is call his boyfriend, his ex-boyfriend, Jaden, and decided to give this Jaden. After they now he's trying to give us some tests, to give a test for him for testing, to test him and to tell him the way after the test. After finally Jaden he finally answered the call, and he answered the call. After he answered the call, and he said that we and I don't think we can be together anymore. After basically now that Angela didn't find out. Okay, so I didn't know basically now. So basically, Angela, basically he after before I forgot what I told you what happened. I didn't mean to say that the Angela and Ariane find out that he got in a car crash. I forgot what he said, but basically it happened. So Jaden find out that Harry was dying in a car crash, but Angela didn't know. Angela didn't see it. But Angela didn't know that. But let me tell you what happened. What happened to the real? What happened? So Angela basically gonna did it, and Jaden called Angela, and Ariana called and Jaden, and basically they announced that basically Jaden decided to not get back with her. Now they don't want to get back together. And of course, Angela feels a bit she's confused and start to get really upset. And he said, "Why we can't? Why?" And we said, "Because you've been dating Harry, and of course, Angela finally Angela find out where is Harry, and of course Angela, and of course Harry, and of course Jaden, 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 of course, tell him that he died of he died of car crash. But basically, they didn't find out what is the story about. After his mind, of course, the story happened in the story. Basically, after find out that his life has been hard. Now, basically, Angela and of course, and Ariana she started to cry because of the life of between Angela, between Jaden and Nicole.